What's going on, everybody? John Eric Pauli here with my MMA news, and today's guest defeated Matt Schnell by a first-round submission at UFC 274. I am pleased today to be joined by Brandon Royval once again here today. Brandon, always a pleasure talking with you, man. Really appreciate the time as always, and congrats on the win.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time also.
So we'll kind of get into some of the things here. Before we get into exactly some just fight specifics, we'll start with just how you're feeling right now. Obviously, what a great performance. I'm sure you saw it to be like, head over heels with that performance there, because like you really showed a lot of heart. And not only that too, you got out of there real quick with a first round submission. I know there's a lot to break down there, but still, just you have to be buzzing over that performance. And then obviously there's a lot of big things in the horizon too to talk about. There's an interim title shot that you wanted, you didn't get. So just kind of a lot going on here these last few days. Just how you feeling overall?
I'm feeling good, man. Just that fight was about trying to make a statement, and I don't know if I did exactly what I needed to do, but I got in and out of there, got the finish really quick, and then also got a bonus, and so did Matt Schnell. That was just a good day all around.
Well, you made a statement to me. I thought you did anyway. That was, like I said, a great performance. We're going to break it down here in a second. So as we start getting into these fight specifics, the thing that I want to actually begin is actually kind of a bit of a funny note. I'm not sure if you saw it yet or not. I'm sure you had to by now. It was kind of all over social media. But for your fight, they listed you as Charles Oliveira. Did you see that the graphic was only for like 2 seconds?
Yeah, I was pretty stoked about that too. He was listed as Justin Gaethje, and I was Charles Oliveira. Yeah, that made me laugh.
So this fight too, right? Obviously, Matt showed a lot of heart just coming to it because he lost his mom in the process. Obviously, you have to give him credit there too before we start getting the actual X's and O's of this fight here. Just talk about what that was like to have an opponent like that wanted to fight after going through everything like that, because that's such an emotional, heavy thing to go through and to go out and perform
Yeah.
after losing a parent like that.
I actually had no clue about that. I didn't watch any of his interviews. I stayed away from. I try to stay away from all that stuff. Fighting, you're taking away someone's dream essentially, man. And it's hard for me to get like emotionally invested and know people, know things about people's family, know things about like their whole entire life. And that being said, is I already had like a special place in my heart for Matt Snell as it was. But I was really grateful I didn't know about the situation because I feel like once I found out, I had a really hard time. Like beating Matt Schnell in general, like when I won the fight, it was just like I immediately like felt for him as a person, because he's just been nothing but kind to me. I was running into him all fight week. He got me a gift, man. There's a bunch of cool stuff that went on between him and I, and and like a lot of real human moments before the fight. And if I knew about that, I would have been immediately crushed and all that. So I found out after the fight, and man, that was heartbreaking, man. I had a hard time. I had a hard time the next few days just even knowing about it, man. That sucks, and I feel for that guy, and I'm just happy that being out there and pressed enough to get a 50,000 bonus for both of us, man.
Yeah, it was nice that the two of you were able to get the bonus there. Now, did I hear you correctly? Did you say that you both, or I'm sorry, that he got you a gift during fight week? Is that what you said? He got you a gift?
Yeah. He got me a card of myself. He's apparently a card collector, and he had like a rare card, and it was of me, and he handed it to me at weigh-ins, and it was really cool, man. It was a really cool moment, and it was unnecessary for him to do, but it was awesome. And like I said, man, we had a bunch of heartwarming moments before then too, just running into each other. Before I got to the UFC, I was in LFA, and Matt Snell gave me like a huge shout out as soon as I won the belt. And it's like, that kid deserves to be in the UFC. And those are all like little things that like, man, I took with me as a person. And it's just like, he never had to do any of that stuff. So he was just so cool, man. And it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, you don't want to fight guys like that. You don't want to fight guys like Moreno. You don't want to fight like guys like Takar France, even, where it's like I follow these guys on their social media, and it's like you see their moments with their kids and their families and all that, and it's like it's hard to go in there and fight something like that, man. It really is. And it's like this isn't basketball where you lose and it is what it is. It's like you lose, that sets you back 2 fights at least, and it's like it's a huge setback, and it's not like that. It's like you're putting your family through a bunch of shit. And it's like, I know what my family has to go through. I couldn't imagine what Matt Snell's family had to go through this fight camp. And then to watch him fight and to go through the motions of that whole entire fight was crazy, So I don't know, man. It was one of those, like, I'm happy I got the win. I'm happy I'm moving in the right direction. But, like, I don't know. Like, living with that sucked, man. Fighting is not an easy sport, man. This is it takes a toll on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a good point too that you made too about like it's not like a basketball or something like that because right, anybody in basketball, hockey, baseball, these sports, right, you lose multiple times a year, you can still compete for a world title, and a sport like this, a couple losses, it really does set you back, like you said there. And now that we have all this stuff out of the way, let's actually get into the exact X's and O's of this fight. It was only one round, obviously, but a lot going on here in this one round. For starters, he came out fast. He was able to drop you early. Just talk about what was that?
He came out really hot, and I didn't expect that. Like I expected for me to kind of chase him down. Most of his fights, he uses his footwork, bounces around, and I don't know. I don't know if it was a given scenario of what he was dealing with and feeling that he decided to come out super hot, or maybe it's that he's fighting me and I kind of have that style. So maybe he's just like, I'll meet fire with fire, and but either way, I did not see that coming. It set me off. It set me off my game plan. And my game plan was to just stay on him a little bit, to press the pace, but also just like set the pace and move laterally and kind of break a couple of the bad habits I've already had. And I've done a really good job in this like last couple of camps of breaking some habits that I have bad. And he kind of forced me right into a lot of bad habits, and it was interesting. It was interesting to see, and it was my first time fighting in front of a crowd, so maybe a little bit of that was that, but it was also just like he came out really hot, and I had to almost match that, and I got forced into some bad habits, and it was one of those situations where it was a short fight, but I assume I probably got hurt more than he got hurt in that fight because he cracked me pretty good, and he caught me off in a weird footing position, and yeah, it was just a weird start, and I just didn't expect it, man. I played that battle a million times, and I didn't see it really going. Him just pressed the line right off the bat.
Yeah, so, all right, so you're saying that, right? You weren't expecting that. How difficult is that when something like that happens to try to, obviously go through the rest of the fight? Right? That you have a game plan set in place, and all of a sudden it's like first couple seconds of the fight, that's out the window. How difficult is it on the fly like that to be able to, go to plan B and C?
Yeah, I was reacting on instinct, and some of my instincts aren't the best. Like I have really good in and out movements, and I can time punches really well. But I jumped straight back sometimes, and that's what was catching me. Like that's where I kept getting caught. Is I would just move backwards and a little bit to the left, where it's like I need to move backward. If I'm moving backwards, it's to the right, or if I'm moving forward, it's to the right. But I was moving way too left for a southpaw against a righty fight.
So when he rocked you, right, there's that one spot. Well, I shouldn't necessarily rock, but he dropped you with that one shot, right, and you fell right down. What's kind of going through your mind in that moment? Like, are you dazed a little bit there, or do you just have your wits about you, like you just didn't see it coming? What's kind of going through your mind when that punch landed?
I was like dazed in the sense of like, if he would have stood up and I would have stood up, I don't think I would have been wobbled or anything. But it was just like, oh shit, and then I was like, all right, let's go to the next position, and it was just kind of continuing my attack from there. Is okay. Sure, we're on the ground, but it's just like I have a list of things I have to go through, and I have to start attacking, and that was exactly where it kind of went for me next. Just all right, well now we're back on the offense kind of thing, and just kind of let's see where we can go from there.
All right, so now this finish, right? Take us through it. It's kind of a wild scenario there because you guys are kind of, it seemed like in the middle of like a scramble pretty much, and you just happen to realize like, oh, I can grab his neck right now. That's the way it looked like on the broadcast. Did you just kind of see like an opening right there in that moment that you were able to kind of just go right in and lock the choke in the way how you did?
Yeah. I made like a weird adjustment in the guillotine when I shot in for it. So it was like the arm and guillotine, but it wasn't really like arm and guillotine. It was just like the appearance of it. So I think that's what caught him off guard. But yeah, you just seize the moment, man. He was shooting in, and I had a split second for the neck, and I was like, all right, I could go for this. And then even if I didn't get it, I knew I could probably roll him, and I just kind of have those options in my head, and, they were kind of instinctual, if anything. So I was just going right on to the next thing, and I'm glad it worked out.
For sure there. And now let's talk about this $50,000 bonus that you got afterwards. Obviously, it's a nice chunk of change coming your way. What are the plans for the fight of the night bonus there? Do you put that money away? Do you buy something nice? What do you do with that?
Yeah, so I just bought a house. I'm in the process of buying a house. I closed this week. So it's been kind of like a stressful week going into fight week, like dealing with all the buying a house thing. But, I think I'm going to try to like just refurnish my house, like get a bunch of furniture for it, and then use my last one for like Airbnb or something. I don't know, man. And just keep the furniture at my current house, and just see where I can go from there. I don't know. I obviously want to start making money off some of these purchases and just be smart with it. And I was kind of nervous about buying the house anyways because it's just me, and I don't know. but that 50,000 is a nice little cushion for me. So I was pretty stoked about it.
Yeah, I bet that's a nice chunk of change coming your way there. Now let's talk some future matchups here. So obviously afterwards, you were calling for the interim title shot. What, maybe 2 days later, a day later, they make the announcement that it's going to be Kai Kara France, Brandon Moreno. You fought both of those guys. You obviously have the win over Kai Kara France. Just want to get your thoughts kind of on what took place there. Were you shocked at all that they went with those two for the interim title shot as opposed to you? And just kind of how are you feeling now that's been announced?
So I heard that Figgy's refusing to do the fourth fight or whatever how many times they fought. He's refusing to do it and only wants Kai Kara France. So they had no other choice but to kind of like, okay, well, Figgy refusing to fight right now. So they're like, let's just make it interim. That's what I heard from my end. But that being said, is like it just kind of fucks over because like sure we can throw Kai Kara France in for the interim, but it's just like where's Pantoja fit to all this, you know? And it's like I kind of think Pantoja could do a little bit of the shot, but it's just like I just don't know where he's at with his injury and all that stuff. He's been injured since our fight, so it's like I don't know where he goes with that. And then it's also just like I don't really know where I go with all this too. If these two are fighting, then it kind of takes away who I'm fighting. And that my ideal fight was either one of those two. I could rematch either one of them. It was like there was an accident that happened in that Brandon Moreno fight. I was on top of him when I blew my shoulder out. And then I pretty much had my way with Kai Kara France, for being honest. So it's just like one of those, like, I don't necessarily know where I fit in, but I'm done taking steps back. Like, you know, I fought two guys ranked below me, and it's like I deserve someone ahead of me this time. So it's just like I think I'm kind of waiting for what happens with that Perez fight and just what happens with Pantoja or what happens with Figgy, I guess. But like we have two dudes in the top five that are kind of like up in the air right now.
So you were mentioning there, right, that you heard that Figgy didn't want to take the fight because him and Brandon have fought so many times. Kind of puts you in an interesting spot too there, right? Because you're saying, like, I don't know where I kind of fit in the mix of things. Do you feel like that we just saw these two guys fight literally 3 times in a row. Now there's an interim title fight. If Brandon wins, that puts it 4 in a row. I know they're all exciting fights that the fans want to see, but I mean, from somebody that's a contender in the division, you kind of be a little upset, right? There's a kind of log jams everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just one of those stupid things that it's like I don't know if Brandon wins, but it's like if they do the fourth fight, it's like you guys are holding up the division for two guys that aren't even the best. Like it's one of those like I'm over those two fighting anyways, and it's like let's just move on with the division and not like if they threw Figgy versus Kai France, that would have been sweet because then I could fight Brandon Moreno next, and that kind of gives me a place to go. Or if they did do a fourth fight, then it's like then it gives me Kai Kara France too, and that's a good title contendership fight for me also. And it's just one of those things that it's like the fact that Figgy's not accepting a fight and then they're doing the interim fight, it just really fucks me over and what I was trying to do next. So I don't know. I'm frustrated by the whole entire thing, but it's just like I really want to move up and I really want to try to stay as active as possible. So it's just like I don't know. If someone falls out, I'm ready for it. You know, if someone falls out, I'll back up for that. But it's just like I don't know. I just wish Figgy to get his shit together. You know.
Mm. So you said that, right? You want to stay active. You want to be ready. It's funny. I think the last time that we did an interview was right before Figgy and Brandon were fighting their trilogy fight, and I think you guys were like a week apart or 2 weeks apart, and you were just going to stay on weight, stay all ready, just God forbid in case something happened there. Obviously, these guys are going to be fighting in July here. Do you plan on being a backup for that fight, or do you want to maybe even get a fight booked for that card? God forbid if something happens, then you're right there and you can take the place.
Yeah, it's just one of those two. But it's like if I get a fight booked on that card, it'll be someone that won't give me a title contendership next. You know, so it'll be like I'm fighting number. So Alex Perez is booked, so I'd be fighting number 6 or number 7, and I think number 6 is Matt Schnell, and then number 7 would be like I don't even know. And it's like I'm not trying to fight that far back. It's like if I fight far back like that, that's not really doing anything for me in the future, you know? And it's just like, I just want to fight someone ahead of me and I want to get to this title shot. And it's like, I've been fighting these last 2 dudes who are ranked below me. So it's just like, I think I've earned my way to fight back into like a title contendership or one of these top 5 guys, you know?
Absolutely. I agree with that too. I think you're definitely right in the mix of things there. It should be interesting to see kind of how they go about doing all this here. Kind of the division's getting log jammed at the moment. But anyway, one other thing now before we kind of wrap things up here, just Talk about the training a little bit. Obviously, I know you're always in the gym, you're always working. Just kind of how have things been going as you've evolved now as a fighter, Rick? We've been seeing kind of. I just love watching you fight. Each time you go out, there, you can tell that you're just getting better and better and better and growing leaps and bounds in between each fight.
Yeah, yeah. So me, I'm just trying to just be more technical. That was my first time fighting in front of a crowd. I wanted to show a whole different aspect of me. I didn't really get a chance to. It was such a firefight. But my training just got really intelligent, and I've done a lot of. Like you wouldn't notice it in the fight, but I've done a lot of better, like a lot better job at like not getting hit and all that stuff. So it's like that's what I really want to focus on, and that's what I want to show my next fight is just not getting hit and just being a superior fighter everywhere. I don't want to just go spam people and just throw a lot of punches. I want to land the right punches at the right time, and then on top of that, I want to have a little bit of that Diaz style and spam a little bit too. But I mainly want to just go out there and show like an intelligence thing.
All right, man. Last thing now before you roll out here, just go ahead, plug your social media, management, sponsors. Anybody got to give a shout out to? Floor is yours.
A huge thank you to EA Glass in Denver, man. They've been a long time sponsor of mine, Ed and Cyrus. They've been great, and just a huge shout out to them, man. The greatest sponsor that I have. Thank you for your time too, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Brandon, no problem at all, man. Always a pleasure talking with you. Thanks again so much for all the time here today. And thank you to all the viewers out there watching today's interview. If you liked it, please go to the bottom, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And MyMMANews.com. Keep going there for all of our great content that comes out every day of the week. Go to our social media pages. Give us a like and a follow on there as well. We'll see you later, everybody.